Uh, okay, we're live. Welcome to Mazecast.
Hello, it's good to
Um,
be here. It still says off air. Oh, now it says live. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Owen
yes.
Hammer. You can call me the Hammer. I'm here. I'm here live for the first time. I have my second copy of Maze, the one I got as a child. I lost as we all know. They used Elmer's glue to make the binding. So if I can find a copy of the hardcover, I'm going to snatch it up in a second.
Come on,
But
they printed a hardcover?
I think I remember seeing it on Amazon, but memory gets duller as the bulb grows dimmer with time. But I've talked to a lot of you via the Hangouts, via the Into the Abyss comment section, and I understand that the wiki is being built with my spreadsheet as a template. So let me tell you about my history with the maze.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into the spreadsheet and the wiki, but I first sort of would love you to let people know how you came to Maze, your history with Maze. I know you were in on the John Bailey days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
I have no idea who John Bailey is, but yet we correspond a great deal. So let's go back to Christmas 1986. No, it had to have been 87. I got the maze as a gift. I remember I saw it at this bookstore called the Book Nook in Bloomington, Indiana, and I got it, and I was hooked instantly. You might guess that I'm on the spectrum, I think there's more people on the spectrum at an autism meeting than in the Mazecast crowd, but you have to have a lot of patience to try and sift through the book. And I loved it, and I never solved it. I just didn't even get close, and kind of forgot about it. And my nice copy got lost somewhere when I moved to LA, and then the house was sold and everything like that. Then Amazon came around. I'm old enough to remember when Amazon was new.
Me too.
And I got a new copy, and I thought, well, maybe this internet, somebody posted the solution. And there were some guesses to it. And I think I found on the internet, maybe John Bailey's site, the first ever posting of the solution, maybe ever. And I wrote to Henry Holt to get Christopher Manson's address or email or something. This would have been 98. I moved to LA in 98, and then 98, 99, I was still working on it. And I got to do a Marco Rubio thing here. Apologize for the international audience who has no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they sent me the official solution. Actually, I think that I got the official solution from Henry Holt before I saw it on the internet, or maybe concurrently. But I'm not the first person to post the solution, but I was either the first or the second. And then once I got if you have the solution in your hands, you're not necessarily gonna understand how it works.
Right.
So I was able to get a hold of Christopher Manson. I wrote him a couple times. I'm looking for those letters, which I never scanned in, and I feel like an idiot.
The letters.
Because I can't prove it now, but
I don't know. We believe you.
Okay, do I look like a liar? Okay, so
absolutely love to hear about the contents, what you can remember of them. Hello? Uh-oh. Owen's frozen up a bit here. Owen? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. This is standard for Maze. Owen's feed has frozen up on us. I'm just going to talk a little bit here until hopefully Owen can join us again. Maybe I'll just send him a little note just to make sure he knows what's going on. Oh, it's too bad. Oh, there he is again. Hello?
Okay.
Hooray!
Okay, well that was an adventure. This is the first interview I've done on web whatever, Google Hangout or whatever.
Yeah.
I still talk to people on the phone mostly. Okay, so where was I? So the biggest thing I got from him was that he confirmed where the letters to spell out shoulders comes from.
Okay.
I had actually inverted the E and the O. As you remember the E, I don't remember the room number, but there's a bunch of objects that end in the letter E. I thought that was very dissatisfying.
That's room 37.
Yes,
so
but
he confirmed that was why, was because they all ended in E?
Yes, I think that's the first official confirmation that that's where the E came from.
Okay.
I thought that was the O because the hidden in the brickwork is the Morse code for O.
Oh, interesting.
If you look at the 3 bricks that have eyes on them, if you think of them as 3 dashes, that's O. But there's more. The real O room, where there's a broke baseball that went through the window.
Yep, 23.
Right, and there's a very conspicuous piece of paper that says, all right, the time is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That was O. But if you look at the glove on the coat rack, one of them is making the international sign language, or the American Sign Language symbol for E. So I thought that was E.
Yeah.
So I had reversed those too, but I mean, is my solution really better than Manson's solution when you think about it?
Yeah, who cares what Manson thinks about his?
I don't know. I just see. I was assuming he would use a different way every time to spell out a letter.
I see.
So I was thinking like sign language, Morse code, stuff like that.
Right. It's very tempting to look for codes, but there doesn't seem to be a lot.
No, there's lots of rebuses.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I kind of opened it, closed it, opened it, closed it. I was talking to John Bailey, kind of let it slide. Then I found Into the Abyss.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to you guys. I think some of the Barger, Bailey people were still around, and a lot
Vince
of
was
people.
there. Vince is one of the Bailey guys too.
Okay. I wish Vince was here because he said some things I need to talk to him about. But of course, I'd much rather talk to you.
That's okay. You should ask those questions though, because he can then respond in the comments.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So, and then I was working now. This is kind of the ripping off the Band-Aid moment because I don't want to offend anybody.
Okay.
But I thought a lot of the stuff on Into the Abyss was like down the rabbit hole type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was very difficult to read because it was all comments. Nothing was ordered like the wiki will be. I always wanted to have a website that like ordered everything the way I had ordered the spreadsheet. I was almost done with that spreadsheet when I found White Raven and the crew. And I just think a lot of this stuff was weird. A lot of people rambled on and started talking about the Roman Empire and gelatin molds and, random objects. And I just was like, and then somebody would talk about this one character from Greek mythology, but then print 10 paragraphs about that character, and a lot of it I just thought was not helpful. Mm-hmm. And the big thing, and apparently I'm getting a lot of resistance from you fine people, but that's okay. I am positive that there is not in every room a puzzle that tells you what door to take.
Okay, so let's just clarify what you're saying here.
Yeah.
You're not saying that there aren't clues to tell you where to go. You're just saying that that's not what's happening in every room.
It's not happening in every room. It definitely in room 1. It kind of, as you go through the maze, getting clues as to what door to take kind of fades out because we all agree room 1 because of Fable. Mm-hmm. There's like a million ways to decipher the clues and know that you go into 26, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 26. Mm-hmm. 26 has the devil's tails pointing at the 2 wrong doors, so by process of elimination you can figure it out. The next one is 30. There is a rebus that says door 15. There's a rebus that says door 23. But there's nothing to really indicate what the right door is. So I think the clues end there.
Okay, now wait. We just have to stop here for a second. So room 30 is the site of they've got
You.
the if no Eve, right, which anagrams to 1-5,
Yeah.
right, which could mean either 15 or a single 5, which could mean 5.
Yeah.
And you were the one who there was like a lot of discussion on the abyss, and Raven was revealing his solutions, and there was a very complicated solution that he was revealing, and you kind of popped in at that moment and said, "Oh, I always thought that tree was a rebus for F, our tree," and we just went, and it just kind of blew. It was so clear and perfect, and it was like, oh, of course that's what that is. It's another rebus anagram thing, just like the other stuff. So anyway, that was like a moment when everyone kind of we kind of use F. I don't know if you know this. We use F our tree now as like as a way of saying something that you find that it's sort of like, oh, of course that's what that is.
The ring of truth.
The ring of truth, exactly.
Yeah. If I'm not getting the ring of truth, I abandon a hypothesis.
Yeah.
That kind of makes things that way I spend less time going down dead ends. At least I think I am.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's like a lot of talk about finding the hidden message that tells you what door to take. I don't think it's there. I think there's not really any benefit in knowing what door to take if you're not going through the solution. Maybe it's fun to kind of wander around the maze. It was for me when I was a kid, before I like started realizing I need a plan of attack here. But no, it doesn't make any sense to me that Manson would put that in every room. So anyway, that's the thing. So I think that like wipes out like 90% of Into the Abyss. And I hope I'm not offending anybody. I just don't think that it's there.
No, we need different opinions and thoughts, because obviously we don't have a lot of concrete information from Manson. so
let me go back to the Manson list.
Yeah. Okay.
The most provocative thing he said there's a second puzzle that no one's figured out yet.
Right.
I believe he also said that to White Raven.
Oh, so he said that in the letter to you as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I lost that letter, I'm going to kick myself because I'm so meticulous at filing and everything.
Yeah.
That was rather. And then I was asking him specific questions about da-da-da, and then he stopped talking to me. I think he's kind of like done with the maze. I think he's retired, actually. He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't get any benefit from talking to us. I think I read on Into the Abyss that he wrote it in a very short amount of time because it was out of money.
Yeah, and he wrote it in like this frenzy and just kind of locked himself in his house and wrote it in a month or something.
Yeah. But given how much thought there is into it and how many like hidden puzzles there are, that's rather amazing.
So what's your theory if the puzzles aren't there to direct you, to sort of tell you which way to go? What do you think they're doing? What do you think the stuff in the rooms is doing?
Well, a lot of it is distinctly telling you that you've gone the wrong way. I believe every room in the trap has the word trap hidden somewhere.
Okay.
Or some variation of it, like see no zape is no escape.
Right.
The stop sign in the theatrical, the
22
acrostic for stop, sofa, trident,
ottoman.
Ottoman. Oh, is that an ottoman?
I think it's an ottoman. So I was thinking about this the other day because I love your idea with the acrostic. I was thinking of other ways to do it. So O could be ottoman. So pawn, trident, ottoman. What does that leave? S? And then you could have S for sign or stop sign, which is hidden on the bottom.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And because there's not really anything that's an octagon with a white border around it, like we can say that's a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the word stop is in Christopher Manson without rearranging the letters.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's hidden his name in places, but we'll talk about that later.
So he specifically said to Dave, "I've only hidden my name in one
Dave
place."
Again?
Dave Gentile.
Okay.
And Dave had a lot of very, I think Vince called them eccentric theories and very extensive theories, but he did correspond with Manson for a short time as well. And I think Manson did confirm to him that he only intentionally put his name in there one time.
Oh, we don't know what it is though.
Well, I mean, we think it's the Sun Man Manson.
Yeah, I think that is definitely supposed to be Manson. And also, it has the word portico in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
true.
If you make an anagram of Christopher Manson and insist that the word portico is in there, which you can do in some anagram makers, you do get words, but none of those words describe things in the scene.
Too bad.
Whenever I see like something really conspicuous like portico or Orson, I think that if it's not a reference to Manson, it's got to be something.
Yeah.
What's the Orson room again? You seem to memorize the numbers, whereas I haven't.
Most of them. That one's either 36 or 16. I can't remember which.
I thought I really hit the jackpot because Orson parchment is almost a complete anagram for Christopher Manson. You're just missing H, I, and S. You could say his Orson parchment, but there's nothing really to indicate that the word his is in there.
Right.
But then I realized it's not a parchment, it's a tapestry. So much for that.
Right.
But for a while, I was like, yeah. And there's several places where there's a picture of both a man and a son.
Mm-hmm.
What's the I room again? Where it says maybe, yes, no.
Oh, that's 34.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, there's multiple puzzles that give you the word I. And then it says maybe, yes, no. And if you take the word I out of that sequence, you go, thank you. I didn't know we could do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So then you get MAYBON. You have to take I's out of it. And as you can see, without rearranging the letters, you have I and I's. That leaves you with MABON, an anagram for man, boy. Now, this is a stretch, but every boy is somebody's son. Manson.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, by the way, quick cane is hurricane. A hurricane has an I.
Yes, I think you were the first to point that out. And that's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And notice that there's a reference to needle and a second reference to needle. The second needle does not have an I. So that means that kind of I is only referenced once.
Oh, What do you mean by that? Can you just...
Well, a jibe, pine, compass is needle.
Right.
A jibe, a pine, and a compass all have a needle.
Right.
To the right is that obelisk is called Cleopatra's Needle.
Yes.
But it doesn't have an eye.
Well, does the compass needle have an eye though?
No. But they all have a needle. A needle has an eye.
Oh.
The eye of the needle, the eye of a potato, eye of the hurricane.
Right.
And of course, the Argo is known for having an eye on the front.
Now that's interesting. So I know a lot of people think that's the Argo. I've always thought of it as Theseus's ship coming back with the black sail.
I have the Argo always has two eyes on the front, like the whole thing's a living creature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Someone correct me if that's not true. Regardless, there's an eye on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But if I'm not mistaken, it always is represented as having an eye. Even in cheap Greek mythology films from Italy in the 60s, it had an eye on it.
Okay, so you're seeing the needle and eye thing in here, and so let me ask you, like, what Raven gets out of that is a clue for door 10 because it has a 1 and a 0, and that is the needle and the eye, and it's telling you to take door 10. Is that what you would take from that, or what do you feel is the point of all the needles and eyes?
Needle is just one way to get to eye. Eye is supersedes everything else.
Okay.
And then to say that an eye is a 0, are we looking at the pupil, the retina? I find that a lot of people get the shape of a number or a letter from something. And if you look at the solution and look at all the stuff that's confirmed, that's almost never the case. The only time that the actual shape of a number is a clue is the door to room 17, where 17 is built into it.
Right.
But again, like that, I think it was Vince who wrote that blog posting about how a puzzle has to be reversible to be a valid puzzle.
Yeah.
Meaning that if
was,
you go from the beginning to the end, that you could also go from the end to the beginning.
right.
And I hope everybody reads that blog entry because it's terrific. And I think Vince or someone else wrote a more detailed article going into the structure of cryptology and how a fair code has to have this and this, and that a lot of the crazy stuff doesn't fit that criteria.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure what. I don't know who would have.
I should have bookmarked it. It was somebody.
Okay.
It was somebody who was an expert either on cryptology or some study of puzzles and games. And if you can actually find that for me, I'd like to read it again.
All right. Well, I'll have a look, and I'll definitely post the link to Vince's blog post in the comments. Okay, cool. So let me get your opinion on the guide puzzle.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
I find it hard to believe that this was officially confirmed. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. I find it hard to believe that Manson officially confirmed this as the puzzle, but I have to say the in Sly, that doesn't feel like the work of an active imagination. That kind of feels like it could be true.
Mm-hmm.
The trefoils, I never understood how the trefoils are supposed to take you to the puzzle. I never understood how they were a way to get you to the guide puzzle. And like a lot of times people were just anything that was 3, they would say that's a trefoil. And trefoil is a very specific shape. I don't know if you have Girl Scout cookies in Canada.
Yes.
But you do. Okay.
I was one too.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I was, but yeah. Now, is there something I didn't read? Like, do you know what the trefoil thing was all about?
So the trefoils were, there's a couple of really good ones. The really great one is in room 10, which is on the bed, right? And the light is shining on it.
That is unambiguously a trefoil.
Right. So that's one of the really good ones. But I guess White Raven's idea was that these trefoils sort of mark doors or a series of doors that are going to get you into the trap. And that it all kind of culminates in room 43 where the bull's head is, and that's sort of a trefoil-y kind of thing on its own.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, he kind of backtracked and he took down a lot of that stuff from the site after people were expecting something a lot clearer and firmer than what it was. But it's just sort of a nebulous, okay, this symbol seems to appear in various forms clustered around the trap.
Yeah, that never made sense to me. And I would say this, if I was Christopher Manson, that head, that's a human head and a bull head, I would have made it bigger because it's important. But I can't deny that in Sly, that doesn't seem like an accident. That seems pretty... that's because there's no other way to interpret in Sly unless it's an anagram, and I don't get it. But yeah, so I never got confirmation from Manson that the second puzzle is the riddle of the guide. It kind of makes sense because that's the one riddle that sticks out in the whole book, other than the main puzzle. And I would like to know. Okay, somebody named Lewis is here now.
Oh, okay. Lewis is Angry Person Smith. He's from the Abyss as well.
Oh, did I just dox him?
Oh, no. His name's on there. Everyone knows Lewis. That's
okay, good.
That's good.
Owen Hammer is my real name, by the way, if you're wondering. Lewis, can you hear me?
It's a great name.
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I see your avatar, but not you. Lewis, give me a quick refresher on what you've been doing on Mazecast and what you've put on the forum.
Well, I don't know that have I been on Mazecast before?
Yes, you have several times.
Okay. I think my biggest contribution to the forums are telling people whose theories are obviously wrong that their theories are obviously wrong.
Yeah.
And then also, I think that there's an inspirational pun in one of the rooms that doesn't make any sense why it would be there, but I don't know what else is going on with it.
Now you gotta tell me what the inspirational pun is.
In the keep trap room.
Yeah.
There's like what looks like the opening of like a tuba or something in the whoa. Thanks, Sarah.
The opening of a tuber?
Tuba.
Oh, tuba,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So we know we're supposed to reverse the words.
Mhm.
The peak and the part to get keep and trap. But then you have keep, and then a weird image in between the your and the self.
Mhm.
And so rebus style, that would be keep whatever is going on there in yourself.
Mhm.
And it's the bell of a brass instrument or possibly a regular bell,
Mhm.
and it looks like it's leaving the room. So I think the inspirational pun is keep believing in yourself. But there's literally no reason why Manson will put that message in this room.
On my image, the room's not up. The avatar of Lewis is up. Not
That's because he's talking, but it will appear to people. They'll see it. Yeah.
Okay. I can't take credit for this. Somebody else posted this, and I want to give them credit, so I wish I could remember who it is. The yourself, one of them is a vase. One of them is an urn. The vase anagrams to run. No, the vase anagrams to save. The urn anagrams to run. So it says run, save yourself. That, and I actually, looked at, they're kind of similar, but I looked up the difference between a vase and an urn, and that's not crazy. It that makes sense. The only thing I can't figure out is keep, because keep yourself trapped doesn't make any sense. Keep yourself trapped, but if you're trapped, there's no point in saying keep yourself trapped. You're trapped. And I also don't understand how the word keep would mean anything.
Right.
But maybe it's just to clue you to put trap, because that is the trap for the trap room.
Mm-hmm.
And the horn. There's another room where there's not a horn but horns, and I haven't deciphered that. Although horns you can make from the letters in Christopher Manson, and I believe that once again it leaves you with other words that are not represented in the picture. So so much for that.
Now,
well, I have to say, I think the horns, there's a lot of horns. There's a lot of things that could be seen as bull parts. So I tend to think that some of that stuff is like Minotaur stuff.
That never even occurred to me. Minotaur would have to have horns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snout. Tail. No. All right. Well, it's probably hidden.
Well, the tail's in room 22.
Yeah. I think that is a red herring that's named as a red herring. Because the word herring is in there. By the way, I hope everybody by this point has caught that on the cover of the book there's a literal red herring.
Yeah, I think everyone's on top of that one.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Women's jewelry. Oh my God. Whoever figured that out. Thank you. Who?
It's great, right?
Okay. I would never in a million years figure that out on my own. And there's the trident pawn sofa or ottoman sign. Mm-hmm. And Ottoman. Okay.
I don't know if you heard this one, Owen, but people had also thought that the signs themselves could be another stop. Because if you have scale.
Yeah, scale, tail.
And then O, the ring, like the ring is shaped like an O. And then you have to do P for precipitation, like falling water, which is not the best,
you lost me.
I know, that's the worst one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting a little off track here.
Okay. So this is the point on the forum where I would say that's a bad theory.
Mm-hmm. Lewis, are you the one who wrote the article from the point of view of cryptology?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
Cryptology is the science of codes and code breaking.
Yeah. No. Sorry. No, I did not.
And somebody proved mathematically that the maze is unsolvable, and the fact that nobody solved it is consistent with that.
What do you mean they proved it's unsolvable? Did they look at the pictures and realize that they weren't all real puzzles, or?
No, somebody mathematically broke it down in terms of how you could derive B from A using a reasonable code, and they said that it's mathematically impossible to actually solve the maze. I think 90% of the riddle of the maze is fun and valid puzzles from Manson, and the other 10% like deriving O from everything the time is, or nothing the time is, all right, or whatever it was, that's, and there's something about everything ending in the same letter that bugs me. It just doesn't seem like whereas everything starting with an 8 seems like.
Well, especially when it's an E, because an E is a very common letter to end a word with, right?
Yeah, like if it was only things that end in X,
right,
that would have been more
that
interesting.
would be noteworthy.
And then things like go ahead.
The letters are problematic because there's so much stuff in the rooms. How do you decipher what is supposed to be cluing a letter and what is supposed to be doing something else?
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say, like bear. Sure, there's a bear. There's a big bear prominent in it, but you have to solve a puzzle to get the word in the 3 rooms before it. So now the bear is a bear. I think that Manson was thinking that you would solve it from room 1 on forward, and once you got it, like Atlas U, and people would say, well, the only object in here that would fill that blank is bear. But now, do I have it correct that some people got the riddle, but nobody got the solution?
All that I know is that nobody got the whole thing. That people got close, but nobody got the whole thing. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means people figured out it was supposed to be the world, but didn't know why. Or
well, there's got to be thousands of people who figured out the path. So
yeah.
So they must have gotten the riddle or a part of it. I've read it was split 10 ways and 12 ways. I don't know which one is correct. But,
well, even if you find the path, that's certainly no guarantee you're going to figure out, the room 45 riddle or the path riddle or any of it.
Compare it to Kit Williams, where exactly one person sent in the right solution to his books. That makes me think that Kit hit the target perfectly. That balance between difficult right to the edge of being impossible.
Yeah, the Kit Williams story is kind of depressing, actually, because there weren't 2 physicists who really figured it out, and they went to dig, and then some guy had gotten there before, but he had gotten there by cheating, like he knew the girlfriend, or there was some total.
Oh, I never heard that.
There's a crazy story behind it.
I gotta look that up. In the official solution, it says that. Oh no! In the second edition of the hardcover. It says that some kid who was described as precocious, and I think Kit was saying he's autistic, some kid had figured it out. I don't recall if anybody actually dug it up, but in the past. It's
an interesting story, though. And you're right. I mean, that's the hard thing for people who make puzzle books like this, where it's a contest. How do you make it hard enough that people aren't just going to get it right away, and yet have it be fair and solvable?
Yeah, and that's a whole discussion. Oh, Lewis left the call. We must have alienated him. So,
bye, Lewis.
Bye, Lewis.
I guess he doesn't like Kit Williams.
Have to go to bed. Sorry. Okay. I kind of thought of this back and forth, a talk show.
Yeah.
And I'm just imagining on Seth Meyers, somebody's like, I got to go to bed, and walking off the set.
Well, somebody just wandering on and wandering off.
Sorry, Seth. We'll pick it up in the AM.
Oh dear. He has a dog, so maybe his dog had to go out. We'll try not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Can you tell us? So you've come up with some good stuff. Do you remember how you came up with F-hour tree? Were you specifically looking for anagrams in that room, or?
Well, it's technically not an anagram. It's a rebus. I guess it's a rebus and an anagram.
Right.
But F-hour, which I've looked at that F-hour over the course of 25 years, and one day it was like, wait a minute, maybe it's not. Maybe it's that solution. It's F-hour, and I always wondered what the tree meant, and I was like, well, maybe it's F-hour tree. And it was like, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then once I realized that anagram's a 3-4, I was like, oh, of course. Yes. Of course. I've had a lot of moments like that, those ring of truth moments. Not just stuff I figured out, but reading stuff on the site.
Yeah, sometimes you read things and it's, I don't know, I guess that's why we all keep coming back. You're just waiting.
Well, save yourself. I never would have figured that out.
Yeah.
And what's the room where the slide is? You go down the slide. It's like 42 or something.
Is it 38? Maybe you're right.
30.
40.
Yeah, I think it's 38. But somebody figured out what the picture of the doll is, and I forgot what
Oh,
they
you mean
said.
at the top? That's 41. Yeah.
I do know that there's a poison mushroom called a doll's eye, and she's pointing to
Yes.
the eye.
It's a very See,
Mhm.
now I thought of that too because we have doll's eyes at my parents' place up north, and it's a
Yeah.
really weird plant. It literally has these balls on it that look like eyes. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. Cool's not the word. Hey.
it's creepy.
But also there is a box of mushrooms on top of a universal symbol of death, which seems to be poison mushrooms twice.
Right.
Mm.
Wait, a universal symbol of death?
Yeah, the guy's arms crossed like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then, you've got the trumpets. You've got the trumpets in the other door, and there's aren't there poisonous mushrooms called death trumpets or something like that?
Oh, really?
Know. Yeah, and then there's the frog that could be seen as a Venus flytrap, like all these dangerous plants. I don't know.
Yes, dangerous plants. I bet there's some kind of dangerous plant with the word horn or trumpet in it. Yeah.
It just felt like there was some kind of theme there, maybe.
But this is where the whole concept of the maze, the concept of a one-way door is firmly explained. Mm-hmm. I think that's the whole point of the slide. Yeah. You can't climb back up the slide if it's too slippery, or if it's too. I mean, we don't know how deep you go once you get on the slide. And I think that there's just all these images of death to kind of ward you off. And then there's a picture of a broken key on the other side.
Right.
Because a lot of people think, well, a door can't be two-way. And it's like, come on, guy, it's the maze. Yeah.
It's the maze, exactly.
Oh, speaking of doors, if I'm taking the conversation away from where you want it to go, you can stop me now. But somebody says the maze has 188 doors.
Oh yeah, that's in room 5.
Yeah, and I thought that is it 188 or 109? It's 190. I've counted all the doors, including the hidden door and including the entrance.
Yeah.
And I get 188, but they said 190. Somebody count the doors and tell me if my count is wrong, because.
So yeah, there is a discussion about this on the Abyss somewhere. And people do various things, like they count both sides of the front gate. They do various things to try.
Let me enter. You've turned into an avatar again.
Yes, that's on purpose because there's things going on here, but it's okay. I'll turn it back on in a sec. Yeah, so people have counted it and gotten very close, but not quite to that number.
Yeah.
And B, that was one of the questions that Raven asked Manson on our behalf. About that number, and he at that point confirmed that the guide always lies, that the guide never tells the truth. And so it seemed like that would be that whether it's a reference to one of the doors being hidden and he's somehow lying for that reason, although the numbers don't work out that way, or what the purpose is, I don't know.
Well, that's just mean.
It is mean, but it directs your attention to the number of doors, which maybe makes you think, okay, maybe I should be thinking about that.
Well, I thought it was letting you know that there's a hidden door, the door to room 17.
Yeah.
But by my arithmetic, it's another hidden door. Because if you don't know there's a door to room 17, the blank door in room 17 will cue you into the fact. You would get an odd number instead of an even number.
Right.
But anyway, if somebody knows what the hidden door is, let me know.
You think there might be another one? So maybe that's the thing that he said nobody has found.
Well, yeah, but then if Manson himself says it's a purpose misdirection.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he did confirm. He's like, the guide always lies one way or another. He's always he never tells you something straight out true.
Yes.
Yeah, which is useful.
Oftentimes he purposely misdirects you to the wrong room.
Right.
But if you solve the path mathematically, you won't be fooled by what the guide says.
Right. But if you were really in the maze, you couldn't do that.
You could do it. You just have to walk around a lot. Somebody
and not make a wrong turn.
Yeah, I think it's on your blog. Somebody posted a diagram that I had come up with myself in 1999. But, you know, I didn't draw out a nice diagram or post it. As you know, if you try to map out the maze, it's impossible. And whoever mapped it out is 3 levels, the path.
To map it out in like physical space, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoever figured out that 3-level thing is a genius, because and the fact that the trap forms the image of a key, I don't think that was accidental. That seems pretty it seems like that was done on purpose.
Yeah, I would say the community is really divided on that one.
What, the key?
I agree with you. I think that's intentional, but a lot of people are like, well, you know, you get that number of points, join, you can make any shape you want practically. I don't know.
I'd have to look at it. But somebody posted an image of this, how to solve the path. Now go back in time to when you got the book for the first time, and you don't know anything. As you know, if you make like a probability tree or an algorithm or whatever, what is it where you branch off like that? Tree.
I don't know what that's called.
And start with 1, and then all the combinations from 1, all the combinations from those doors. It's just ridiculous. But you don't have to find a path. You have to find the shortest path.
Right.
Which means you start with 1, go to all the doors you can reach from 1, and then you don't put every door you can reach from 2. You put every door you can reach from 2 that you can't reach from 1. So in other words, once a room is on that diagram, it never repeats.
Okay.
So it spreads out and then contracts. And what's interesting is it bottlenecks at room 29, which I think is 6 steps to get to room 29. But it is the only room you can get to in 6 steps, because it's right there. And then let's say you don't know about the hidden door, but you map it out. You'll say, okay, something. You'll know that there's something hidden in room 29, and then the maze is pretty simple from there. And then getting from the center to the entrance, which I guess is the exit if you go the other way, you can figure that out the same way. Somebody put that on your blog. I don't remember who, but it's terrific. And like
that was Brent. I think we had a guy named Brent who is like sort of going through the maze for the first time and using mapping software. Yeah, that was Brent. Yeah. Good, nice.
I would argue you don't need the software, but yeah. So.
But that's not what keeps us coming back to maze, right? Like solving the maze itself, like getting through the maze and steps is not what keeps it.
There's definitely a lot of stuff hidden in there. I mean, maybe we've got to the point where we found it all, but there's definitely something hidden, other stuff hidden. I think the stuff that's hidden in there is stuff to purposely misdirect you from the solution. Like there are several rooms where every object starts with the first letter. So that might make you think there's nothing unique about room 15 where everything starts with H.
Right. I think.
And there's lots of rooms where there's like a word cued by everything, like the I room. So that might make you think that there's nothing special at room 4. By the way, no one on Earth could have figured out how it is hidden in room 4. That was, I mean, if I would say it was brilliant if anybody figured it out on their own, but I'm sure nobody did. The problem is that there's 3 pieces of wood that kind of make the word it.
Right.
The gavel kind of makes the word it. So it's like if you know, there's too many things where it's ambiguous like that.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on. It's ambiguous how to interpret any of it. We have absent any or a lot of information from Manson. We don't know what he intended. We just have to keep.
Oh, I know for a fact that you get the word it from all of the verbs that end in IT.
Right. That one, I guess that one is confirmed for sure.
That is confirmed, yeah.
Yeah.
I still would like to know how we're supposed to figure out there. But there,
okay, so
room 30.
How about we talk a little bit about your spreadsheet? I'm just going to call it up here.
Oh, sure. Probably most of your members haven't seen this.
No.
What it is, it's very simple. As I'm sure everybody knows how. Well, anybody watching this podcast knows what a spreadsheet is. I'm positive.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Okay, so I just did a. Oh, there we go. So
Yeah.
I just put the vertical column is room number. I 0 through 45 with the entry room being 0, and I guess there's a puzzle hidden in room -1, but I'm not going to talk about that in slide.
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay. Yeah. And then I simply things that occur multiple times in different rooms. I just started listing them and kind of seeing where it appears, where that kind of puzzle appears elsewhere. For example, there are several rooms where a specific word is keyed in. Like room 5 has the word coming unambiguously. Room 22, you could say it has fish, but it's like other things are happening. Room 32, go back. Room 38, no escape, et cetera, et cetera. And then every time the guide takes pleasure in the suffering of the guests, every time we see a sun, every time a sound is specifically referred to, every time go to after sound, I can only see the word 3.
Okay, just give me a second. It's still loading
Okay.
there for some because I had to scroll to the other.
I remember now. Every time the guide says something indicating that there are more than 3 guests, and it's like the clever one, the annoying one, or whatever.
Right.
Since it appears as though there's exactly 4 guests. I don't know if that's significant, but yeah, whenever he refers to the number of guests, like for example, if there's 3 chairs and he said, 3 of us can sit down, that means there's more than 3. The presence of a smile. There's lots of images of smiling. Presence of an animal. Here we go. Other people referenced. That's actually very common, referring to some other character referenced. The door in one room corresponds to the door it leads to, like the slide on both sides.
Right.
Umbrella. I don't know. I think the umbrella is a false start. Additional. That's just observations. Like whenever you see a die, it's incorrect.
Yes.
I mean the placement of the numbers, and then one of them seems to have no dots on one side. But right. That's actually every time you see the die. Ice ut ear. Multiple words ending in EAR, multiple words ending in OOT, multiple words ending in ICE. Don't know if it means anything. Exterior observed. Every time they mention what they can see. I guess there's plenty of windows. There's actually a lot of rooms that appear to be outside. I don't know how you can't just walk down the street from there. And then this is something I think everybody will appreciate. Every time something is said that clues you into the narrator's identity, every time the time of day is referred to, and they must have been in the maze for at least 24 hours for all that to make sense. Every time you see a chess piece.
Oh, do you figure? Have you sort of figured that out, that they must have been there for 24 hours?
I have to look at it again, but they'll say, oh, the sun is rising. Oh, the sun is setting. Oh, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a Thursday. Yeah, one time he says something that could only translate to it's Thursday.
Man, there was a huge discussion on the Abyss about that, where people are saying, well, the end of the week is actually a Saturday or something.
Right, but it was close to the end of the week, and it's not Friday. So that would mean it has to be Thursday.
Right.
Every time we see a chess piece.
Yep.
A lot of that. Every time.
Chess pieces, isn't there?
What?
Oh, chess pieces.
Yeah.
Strange. Now, what's the one that you see in 25? Oh, the crown, of course. Okay.
Yeah. Every time the comfortability of the room is mentioned, that happens more than you would think.
Yes.
Every time they're sitting down, and he specifically says who sat where and why.
Okay.
Every time there's a symbol over the door instead of a number, and it looks like they form alphabetical order from like A to J. Depending on whether the face is a face or a grin, because we need an F. There's already a face. Okay, so we have face and grin, and then the grin in room 8. Somebody says it's row teeth, which anagrams to
teeth row. Yeah. 2-3. That was Vincent's.
And there is a door to room 2-3, which makes me think it's not a coincidence. But we have a drum, an eye. I'm going in alphabetical order. A face, a grin, a handkerchief, the eye could be I or it could be E. We do them both.
Which color are you looking at right now?
Symbol over door. We have and just when you think, I'm thinking this doesn't sound right. A jester cap, something that's unmistakably a J word. But there's letters missing. Otherwise, I'd be like, yeah. Words that seem to refer to Christopher Manson. I think that's my imagination, though. And every time the guest is named, there's the thoughtful one, the loud one. I forget. I think there's 3 guests that have a
thoughtful, bold.
Yeah. The thoughtful one appears to be a woman, if that means anything to you. Okay, I skipped between 3 and smile. The ear words. This could be going down the rabbit hole, but there's a lot of them, and they almost form a path. Room 9, tear. Room 13, ear. Room 16, gear. Room 18, here, because there's musical notes. Room 25, fear. That's unambiguous. There's a sequence of faces getting more and more fearful. Number 32, wear, because there's an iron suit among a lot of junk. 42, of course, bear. However, it also has pear. And shears, which doesn't work because it has to have an S on it. And then I think that if you can find an ear word in 3, 7, 27, and 33, then you have a contiguous path going through the ear rooms. I think that none of the ear rooms are in the trap. So you have a path entirely not entirely in the loop, but almost entirely in the loop, because the room with the bear is in the path. My imagination, I don't know, but there are a lot of them.
Well, it's interesting because you probably know that Manson wrote that entire book where you had to travel among the pages looking for, and the words had to change according to a variety of rules.
Yeah, The Practical Alchemist.
Yes, right. Yeah, and so, we know who likes that kind of wordplay, so it certainly seems reasonable.
And the rails I tote.
Right.
I think there's spoonerisms. The bright, somebody figured out that the bright room is a spoonerism for the right broom, and there's a broom in the scene. I've looked for more spoonerisms, haven't found any. But if there was more than one, I would say, okay, that's on purpose. We already know he's a spoonerism fanatic.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple in that paragraph, but everyone thinks I'm nuts. So.
What paragraph?
The same room, which is room 2.
The bright room.
With a bright room. And then there's also creaking and groaning, which is like near spoonerism for Greek crone. And then you also have gritty sound, which can be spoonerized to city ground. And this all kind of makes sense if you buy the explanation that room is about Byzantium somehow. But anyway, it starts to get a little wacky.
Right broom, or bright room, I think is on the money. By the way, you'll notice that every object in that room begins with the letter B.
Yes, very heavy room.
Yeah.
It's like Byzantium.
The knowledge base you need to solve the maze and the puzzles is there's a pretty low bar. You'll notice he never goes to obscure words or obscure facts. Just obscuration of simple words and simple facts.
Yeah, I think that's true for the most part. I mean, there's the room which definitely is cluing Edgar Allan Poe and Fortunato and everything, but I guess
I'm sorry, a ground pole? Fortunato, I know, but what do you mean a ground pole?
Oh, sorry, I said Edgar Allan Poe. I didn't pronounce it very well. Sorry about that.
He is going to learn to speak English.
Yeah.
That's the gesture cap.
Right. So it's pretty clearly what it is, but I mean, maybe you wouldn't call that obscure. It's a pretty well-known thing.
Yeah, well, you don't need to know about the Cask of Amontillado to solve the puzzle, though.
Right.
Maybe some obscure stuff you need to solve the puzzle.
Well, my thought, honestly, after having thought about it a lot, like there's lots of theories about how you solve the puzzle based on that story, but I really just think there's a lot of emphasis on sound in that room. I think it's just like Fortunato, door 4. That's it. I think that's it.
Oh, that's a stretch because if that was the clue, there would have to be something to definitely indicate that you take the tunato off the end. Because don't forget, there would be 3 S's instead of 2 if one of the S's wasn't distinctly marked as being extra.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about chopping.
Say who? What? Huh? Oh, and yeah. But again, I don't think Manson gives you clues as to what door to take.
Right.
Because it would be extraneous. You can figure that out without. You can figure that out if you know the connections between the rooms and don't even have a picture of the room.
So is it just in there for flavor then? Like, we've got this room that's like Cask of Amontillado and all this stuff. So like, what's the purpose of it if it's not to tell you what door to take?
I don't know. There's a lot of red herrings, and I think there's just a lot of stuff put in there for flavor.
Like for atmosphere.
You'll notice that a lot of the stuff in there is really creepy.
Yeah.
Like being sealed alive. Hearing yourself in the future on the other side of the door. Room 24 is creepy, of course.
Oh, yeah.
The mouse hole room, like now you're shrunk down. That's weird. Devils, lots of devils. And being in a cave, or not a cave, but the underground area that definitely looks like the whole thing's going to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of anxiety provoking. Seeing people in the distance and you never learn who they are. If you think about it, like a lot of these are tropes from horror films. But if I remember, if you read it when you were young, it's a little bit spooky. And the deja vu room, everything is identical, but the fingers. So if you really go through the book and memorize stuff, it appears that the fingers change on second reading.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
That happened to me when I was 15, and I shouldn't have been fooled by the explanation's obvious, but for a second I was like, oh shit.
The image was so clear in your mind, and then it's moved, like it's actually moved. That's cool.
But doesn't it feel like that might happen, that you would go to a page and it's changed overnight?
Yeah.
If any book did that, it would be Maze.
Yes, it does have that feeling. It feels very alive. For sure. Okay, now I just want to go back quickly to your spreadsheet. So, what are you hoping to gain from this? Like you spent quite a while compiling all these observations.
Yeah, I worked on this over. I didn't take like a big chunk of time in like a short bit of time to do it. I've been hacking away at this like one piece at a time. Just if anything. Well, first off, to kind of categorize everything. But what if I always thought, what if I look for a recurring image and then find it's in like every room, or find it's in most of the rooms, or find out that it's in every trap room or something.
Right. Just looking for patterns.
looking for patterns. There are a lot of rooms where a single letter is specifically pointed out. I think that Manson's thought was that you would somehow know that you have to form a word with letters from contiguous rooms, but wouldn't know the path. So
Right.
you would be fooled by rooms that represent a single letter, but most people are going to figure out the path first, and then
Right.
the single letters.
So you think Manson might have thought that people would be kind of figuring out the letters and things before actually getting to the path?
I think that Manson. I think that a lot of these red herrings are designed around that conceit, but I think it's wrong. I don't think. See, Manson doesn't know what it's like to be on the other end of the maze. Like he created it, and he's making a lot of assumptions about what people are doing. It reminds me of when the format war happened between Blu-ray and HD DVD, and Paramount chose HD DVD, and they stuck with it because they figured people who exclusively buy Paramount films would want to get HD DVD because there's so many people who specifically love movies from Paramount.
Right.
And of course, they crashed and burned. Yeah. But there's an egotism. It's like everybody loves Paramount as much as we do. So I think Manson made a lot of miscalculations when he thought about how a reader would approach this and think about it.
Well, that's something anyone writing puzzles comes up against, I think.
Oh, yes.
And if you're new to it, or if you haven't had the opportunity to test what you're doing, I think it's pretty easy to miscalculate about things like that.
And as a writer myself, I know when somebody says, "Oh, I get it," I'm like, "Oh my God, are you from planet Mars or whatever?" But then when everybody comes up with the same misinterpretation, you're like, "Okay, it's not them, it's me."
Right.
And I think there's stuff like that in here. Obviously, the solution could not possibly be derived by a normal human being.
What kind of stuff do you write, Owen?
I've written a lot of stuff that hasn't been produced. Right now I'm writing plays just because it's easier to get a play produced than a TV show. If anybody is there in Los Angeles in October, my new play is premiering. It's called The Ground Floor.
Cool.
Maybe we'll have like an all Mazecast group on. You can see it.
That'd be great. We can all come to LA.
Yeah, and it definitely reads like something written by a puzzle lover. And then my prior play, I adapted it into a screenplay, and nobody wanted to make it because basically I said it's too dumb for the smart people, too smart for the dumb people, which is something you hear a lot.
Oh God.
I might be making that into a graphic novel just because an established artist is interested in drawing it, and I've had success crowdsourcing projects, and he says there might be a publisher who's interested. So that's called Von Bach. If it ever comes out, I'll let you guys know before anybody else. And I've written a lot of web series, webisodes, written a lot of animation, written a lot of pilots, written stuff that was bought but never produced, which raises the question, why do you keep buying my writing if you don't want to do anything with it? Right. And I also have a second career in visual effects, and you can see my IMDb page to read all of those.
Cool. We'll link to some of that stuff.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah. And speaking of projects, so currently what the Maze team is trying to do here is putting this spreadsheet into a wiki.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna call it up here just so we can see it. And so hopefully this will be kind of a nice way to access and keep track of these observations.
Yeah. I'm hoping to find some time to write the text for it. It'll be written like, from a neutral point of view. Yeah. See, what I want to happen here is that there is all the rooms, and then below that, all of the, let's say, all the topics.
Right.
So if you go to room 1, every topic relevant to room 1 appears underneath it. like hidden word, for example.
Right.
And then if you click on hidden word, you get the page entirely about the subtopic of hidden words.
Right.
And every hidden word is on that page.
So we've kind of gotten started on it. So here's room 1 up on the screen.
Oh, it's looking good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gotten started. And then we have I put in all the sun things. So there's a sun room, a sun page there.
Oh, great. Yeah. So this is what I wanted. You'll see it says suns appear all over the maze. Everything has to have a brief description of the subtopic. But users can add a new subtopic if there's something that you see. And who knows? Maybe in constructing this, we'll find some new thing. Yes.
Good. Yeah. All right. So is there anything else we want to chat about? Kind of taking a little tour through the maze. Now I know you had some questions for Vince, so maybe we could kind of end on that.
Yeah.
You can leave those for him to respond to.
Probably all my questions to him could be answered if I read his article again. I want to find that other article. It made the same points as Vince, but they dove into it much deeper. One specific thing, and then like a general thing to end it. Just because this kind of struck me. What's the sideways room again? Oh yeah, 8.
12?
8.
No,
8.
8. Yes, 8.
Yeah, 8. Grin, anagrams to ring.
Mm-hmm.
Sign, anagrams to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just I was just looking to see if there are other words that anagram to a word ending in ing. And I went backwards, and the only word left that follows that pattern is night anagrams to thing. But there's not a specific reference to night. If anybody can find a reference to night that is hidden but not too well hidden, then we have all these ing words, and I don't know what it means, but I would say if there's a third one in there, it must be intentional.
It would be nice to have an explanation for that sign, because no one has come up with a good one.
Yeah, sign, and there's a stethoscope, which is almost a Manson word, by the way. It has, it has a duplicate letter. There's a letter in there twice. It's only in Christopher Manson once, but if the word punch and the word stethoscope anagram to Christopher Manson, I would lose my mind.
I think the stethoscope is there to clue that the sounds of things are important.
Oh,
my idea was like punch, hunch, and then the missing word is lunch, which is one of the only other things that rhymes with those words.
Oh, punch, hunch, yeah.
Which you're not going to like, because, the right door to take in there is door 12. So I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime. That's why.
Again, I'm positive that's not in the maze. So, I just want to say everybody's having a lot of fun. And I think that Into the Abyss was kind of a sandbox for people to just go down the rabbit hole and have fun, and people could respond to it. And it seemed like this just kind of fun place for people to do stream of consciousness stuff. And I'm glad everybody's having fun. I don't want to be a party pooper. I just don't want the Maze Wiki to turn into that.
Right. So we're going to pretty much stick to observation and fact-based things. Okay, that's good. Now, before we go, I just want to ask, can you tell me about the cool-looking display case that is behind you there?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to set up this shot so that you could see the entire display case.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to use the wingtip chair. Can I move the camera?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. I wanted to frame it so that it would be something like this, and then my head would be where the bookshelf is.
Right.
If the resolution's high enough, you can see That is a complete collection of vintage Star Wars action figures.
Whoa.
Not including the variants because that's just a waste of time and money. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can see close-up photos of it. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can get this in camera. Okay, to screen right of it is the creature cabinet. This is a separate cabinet for the stuff that's too big. I got Jabba the Hutt, the Rebo Band, the Wampa, and the Probot in there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I don't think I can't point to it without revealing like how messy the room is. But to my left, there is a complete collection of Lego Star Wars figures.
Cool.
And as soon as I get the cabinets, a complete collection of diecast vehicles.
Ooh,
and that's where and that's where we stop. My wife, of course, is a big Star Wars fan and she loves it, but she says, but she's also said, okay, that's it.
That's you draw the line somewhere.
Gotta draw the line somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, come on by. Call first.
Call first. All right. Thank you, Owen. And
sure.
Thank you,
Sarah.
Coming on Mazecast. Yeah, I hope you'll come back and talk to us again.
I hope I have some time to work on the Wikia, and it was great to see you and everybody else face to face. So,
all right.
Okay, guys. Bye from Hollywood.
Bye.